is Chandra. How does your art intersect with your life experiences?
It's a big question. That's what I thought when I read it. And
Yeah.
well, first of all, I don't think I've ever really thought about DJing in this way of this recreation, right? Of taking music, so something that already exists, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and then putting it together and sort of mixing it up to create something new. And I really like that because that's something that I do in my art. I do a lot of collage work, and um, that's the whole basis of it, is taking something that already exists uh, and putting it together and mixing it up and making something new. Um, and I find that borrowing from work of other people uh, can really help lift you up. So my art intersects with my life uh, infinitely. It does. It just, they are always intermingling somehow. Um, Even more recently, I had an eye injury while I was working on my car. And I had already started planning how I would continue my career as an artist with only vision in one eye. So I would do my work with, you know, my bad eye on one side of the canvas or whatever. And then I would cover my bad eye and continue the other half with the good eye. And then you would have my vision, right? So I'd already planned that. Luckily, I haven't lost any vision. But I think that my entire life, I've always been a creative person, and I've always had trouble connecting with people. And it makes me wonder, and I think I never considered this until more recently. I'm 36 now, so I've been making art for, let's say, 32 years. um, that I use it to connect with people, just like DJing. It is, and bringing people together to um, to come together because they understand something. It brings them together because they unite on that level somehow. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Yeah, absolutely.
And in them uniting on that level means that they understand something about me,
Mm-hmm.
and that way we can connect. Um, so yeah, I mean, I did art classes all through high school, and I had planned to go to art school, which never happened, but it didn't stop me from pursuing a life of art. And later in life, I was diagnosed with some mental health conditions. And instead of just like closing up and curling up and never working again, I just use it to influence my art, because it's just my thoughts on the page. And now maybe I can connect with someone through that
Mm-hmm.
instead of just remaining isolated.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely lots of intersection there.
Absolutely, yeah. The one thing that I think about too when I look at your art and even your photography and everything is that it kind of almost takes on a life of its own. You know, it's a reflection of the artist, but it's also, once it's been created and put out into the world, doing its own work. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
like you were talking about how your art is an opportunity for you to be able to make connections to others. I feel like just as much your art is also an opportunity for people to make connections to each other that are
Yeah.
experiencing your art too. You know, like that, it's its own entity. It's like a living, you know what I mean, a living being almost, that's just kind of like working its own magic, that, you know, and being thankful to its creator, right? And
Mm-hmm.
taking its creator's work forward and continuing, right? Yeah. So I, yeah.
And I think with the advent of the internet and social media and being able to like share it a little bit further
Mm-hmm.
and make further connection is kind of amazing. And it's made it possible for me to be influenced by other artists and elevate my own work. And I don't know, it's just really an amazing thing. But even like my children have influenced my art. You know, I became a mom, so my art became sort of child centric, but in a really creative kind of weird way. So, so yeah, I think I just follow my life with my art and I always put my own kind of weirdo spin on things.
And I love every bit of it.
I didn't really realize you had thought about my work at all.
I do, yeah. Absolutely, I do.
Surprise.
Not only that, but also, yeah, surprise. The work of your children, too. I think I have some of your children's work as well, too. From there was a thing that happened a while back somewhere where there were a whole bunch of different like tables, and you guys were selling some art and photography. I bought a copy of that photo that you took of everybody in the animal masks, which I love that. That's just like... Yeah. When I saw that, it floored me. And
there's only a few copies of that in circulation. So.
Yeah. I'm very, very grateful to have one of those. So,
but yeah, my daughter's an artist. She'll be tabling this weekend, actually, at the market in the parking lot behind Shabby.
Oh, that's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, cool.
And she's got some really beautiful pieces ready. Her art is elevating too as she's getting older. So
nice. Well, thank you very much.
Helping support Coach K.
I don't think so.
There's one of those coming up too. Yeah.
Okay.
Firefire's been doing like really awesome. Oh, it's that one's Shabby. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Shabby. That's
awesome
okay.
pop-ups happening.
Sorry. Anyhow, I'm very proud of my kids, and I think that my influence on them to pursue creativity and not be afraid of it and not shy away from trying or trusting that they are allowed to be creative, that those creative ideas, you're allowed to make room for those in your life, right? They're just as important as homework, or school or friends. Pursuing this creative endeavor deserves focus and attention.
Absolutely.
You're a powerhouse, Chandra. I've always looked up to you.
Oh, thanks, pal.
Right on. Yeah, it's super inspiring to see how you're able to make space for your children to be creative as well too. And I think that's one of the main reasons that I feel so inspired by you in the first place is because like I've always struggled with the concept of being a father or even being an uncle or being like anything like that. And I am an uncle now to 3 beautiful children. And I'm always trying to think of ways that I can make space for them to be creative too, with whatever influence I have as an uncle to allow for them to be like, hey, you know what, you can be creative, you can do your thing. And yeah, that's just that's beautiful. I take much inspiration from you in the way that you're bringing the kids up and keeping art in the mix and everything like that. And it's beautiful. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially since schools don't do it.
That's true.
Right? They don't do art in school. And kids aren't really exposed to that. And there's so much technology. There's not a lot of hands-on activity. So it's really important, I think, for families and friends and communities, right? Entire communities to offer children these opportunities. So I'm glad that we're sort of all banding together to do that, because it's not just me and it's not just you. See, there are all kinds of community members who do engage with children and who do give those spaces to pursue those ideas. My friend Melissa, she hosts like a sewing circle for kids, and they make like weird little monsters, and it's so fun and so cute. It happens during the Fishbowl Festival, and it's really a wonderful event and always very well attended.